So we taught you some distress tolerance skills, and for some of you that was a review, and for some of you those were new skills. And either way, they can be really helpful over these next few weeks and in life in general. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about emotion regulation skills. So once we get out of that distress tolerance mode or out of our crisis and lower that emotional response, then we're able to actually use skills that help us regulate our emotions. And one skill that can be really helpful that we're going to talk about today is ABC Please. And the reason that I like this skill is this is one skill with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 steps. So there are 9 different things that you can do with this skill to help regulate your emotions. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And Bree's going to take it away with the please.
Thank y'all. So a big thing about ABC Please is that's also really important is to note that its sole purpose is to decrease your emotional vulnerability. So these are seemingly easy things that we can do to decrease our emotional vulnerability. So us feeling emotion really, really intensely can be affected by all of these things. So as you guys know, in DBT, we've got a lot of acronyms, and this is definitely the weirdest one. So our P and our L of please is going to be to treat physical illness. It's especially pressing right now. So you guys were all here when we did the hand washing tutorial with our nurse Ed. Definitely, even though you are maybe quarantined at home right now, making sure that you are washing like in between, like as he said, like the webs of your fingers, whatever this motion was. Never done that in my life, but I've been doing it now. So making sure that you are cleaning your hands, avoiding touching face, mouth, nose, ears, whatever it might be. And if you are feeling sick, making sure that you are taking care of that and doing what you need to do in order to decrease the risk of you getting sicker or getting someone else sick. Because sickness, physical sickness, is going to affect our mental health. Also, getting adequate exercise. This can be like 2 of the extremes. Like because you guys are at home, you might be exercising all day, every day. That's a little too much. We don't want that for you. Also, on the reverse extreme, is that you might just be couch potatoing, doing all of your binging that you've been meaning to do, but unfortunately you've had to go to school or work. So those 2 extremes, neither of them are going to be helpful for our emotional vulnerability. Making sure that you are like getting outside as is deemed appropriate and safe, getting an adequate and appropriate amount of exercise just so we aren't going a little stir crazy. Also, in this time where there's not a lot going on, making sure that we're avoiding mood-altering substances. Sometimes that can be a maladaptive behavior that we get sucked into, especially when there's not a whole lot going on. Because alcohol, for example, is a depressant, and if we aren't doing a lot during the day and we are consuming depressants, we're going to get a little more depressed. So making sure that we continue to avoid those mood-altering substances as a way to avoid our vulnerability to more negative emotions. Also, making sure that we get enough sleep. Again, on the extremes, some of you might be taking this opportunity to have slumber parties on school nights because you don't have school tomorrow. Or you might be taking this opportunity to just take depression nap after depression nap. That's also not great. For your age range, 7 to 9 hours is typically the recommended amount of sleep. Anything more, anything less can make you more vulnerable to your intense emotions. So making sure that you are getting an appropriate amount of sleep, not too much and not too little.
And put those phones away, because sleep hygiene with getting an adequate enough of sleep is important.
And then finally, the E of please is going to be eating balanced meals. Again, similar to mood-altering substances, this is an area that like we can get stuck into maladaptive patterns. So making sure that instead of eating Pizza Hut every single day of this 2 weeks or however long it is, I I know I will be using opposite action to not eat pizza every day, to be perfectly honest.
Same.
So making sure that you are still getting your greens, you are still getting your proteins, you are eating those balanced meals. And again, on the extremes, like for those of you on the extreme that might not want to be eating, making sure that you are extremely mindful that you are getting your balanced meals, because not eating is definitely going to be a really big vulnerability factor. Hunger is a real emotion, friends.
So real.